Part 7. Reunion. Colton and Alea were navigating their way through the dark tunnels when the roof above them collapsed. Among the rubble were two familiar bodies. "Jackson! Max!" Colton shouted. "Not now," Jackson said. "Just run!" The roars of a creature echoed all around them. A hulking, pale creature crashed through the cave ceiling after Jackson and the overseer. It had stone-like skin draped in bones as armor. "Brace yourselves!" Colton flung a grenade. He was caught by the blast right when it exploded in the creature's face. A blinding light flashed through the tunnels. The force of a flashbang was enough to cause more of the tunnel to cave in. Someone pulled Colton to his feet, wrapping his arm around them. When the ringing in his ears and throbbing in his head relaxed, his vision returned. When he opened his eyes, he thought it was Maria carrying him. Her curly brown hair, soft green eyes, full lips, and light brown skin. He shook his head, and when he looked again, it was Alea. "Thanks," Colton said. He moved off her and tried to regain his composure. "I got it from here." He walked up to Jackson, who had taken point. "I think we lost it. That thing attacked us when we got separated. It killed Wilson," Jackson said. His voice was unusually cold. "Where's Chavez?" Jackson asked. Colton swallowed. "We were attacked too," he said. "She didn't make it." "Then how did you and Alea get away?" "I shot it in the face with this." Colton held up Chavez's shotgun. "Duly noted," Jackson said. They walked in silence through the winding tunnels and corridors, lost as they tried to find their way back to the surface. After a few minutes, Alea called for them to stop. "Do you hear that?" she said. "Hear what?" Jackson asked. "It sounds like—" Alea ran into a random direction. "It's coming from over here." "Alea, wait," Colton said, but he could hear something as he followed her. It got louder as they drew nearer to it. They turned a sharp corner into another cavern, and there it was. A stream that flowed rapidly in one direction. Its bright red hue was like the evening sun illuminating the cave walls. Waves crashed against the stones, and it had to be hundreds of meters wide. "It's so beautiful," Alea said, falling to her knees to get a closer look. "I don't believe it," the overseer said. "It's water?" "I need to get samples," Alea said. She was about to stick her hand in when Jackson pulled her back. "Wait," he said. "It could be toxic." "Siri, run an analysis on this liquid. Check for harmful elements," the overseer said. "Performing analysis," the robotic feminine voice responded. Colton leaned against the cave wall, watching Alea and the overseer get their samples when Jackson approached him. "I don't think we're getting out of here alive," he said low enough so the others couldn't hear. "We just need to make it back to the surface," Colton said. "You should have warned us to be ready before we came here," Jackson said. "I expect Max to be slime, but you? What are you talking about? I'm as lost here as you," Colton said, his anger boiling up inside of him. "Don't bullshit, Colton. Max told me about the distress beacon. You only came here to see if your beloved Maria would still be alive. Let me guess. You want to go down fighting these Téreta at the expense of the rest of us." A right hook knocked Jackson to the floor. It had happened so fast Colton didn't realize what he had done until he saw Jackson on the floor. Jackson's face mask cracked where Colton's fist connected. Colton said as he stretched out a hand to help Jackson up. Jackson slapped Colton's hand away. They both looked to the overseer who had been watching them the whole time. Colton marched to him. "Now, wait a minute," the overseer said, tripping over his own feet before stumbling and falling on his butt. Colton stopped when something creeped out of the shadows on the other side of the red stream. Alea slid the vials into a suit pocket and started backing away from the ruby-colored water. Two four-legged beasts appeared on the other side. With no visible eyes, the beasts snarled and snapped with gaping mouths filled with many blood-stained fangs. Their massive ebony frames stood on thick legs that ended in paws with sharp claws. Behind them stood a massive, pale gray creature with blood-spattered bones draped around its body and face like armor.